Okay, let's demonstrate how we cut paper. Over here we have our paper. It's in these large cases. International paper, Williamsburg offset. It's smooth. It's a 19 by 25 with an underscore, which means this is the grain direction. And there's 70, this is 70 pound paper, 70 pound book or text weight paper. So how much of this do we need? Well, let's think about the math here for a second. This is 19 by 25, which means if I cut the 11 out of the 25, I'll get 2. And if I cut the 8.5 out of the 19, I'll get 2, which means we'll get 4 out, 4 up. I want 500 sheets of 8.5 by 11, which is a ream. So 500 divided by 4 would be 125 sheets. We know if we come over here to our micrometer or our caliper, that if I mic a single sheet of paper here, put it on 0, 0, open it up, put a single piece of paper in here, close it up, that it measures almost 5/1000ths of an inch. We can do the same thing with the caliper, but this is electronic and digital. The micrometer or mic is analog. So we turn this on, green button on, close the jaws, hit the yellow 0 button. That zeroes us out. We want to measure in inches. So we have 4 zeros here. If I open up the jaws, put a piece of paper in here, close the jaws, it says the paper is 5.5 thousandths, or 5.5 mil, or 5 points. So that's 5/1000ths of an inch. When you're done with this, make sure you turn the power off so we don't drain the batteries. So if I know one sheet is 5/1000ths and I want 125 sheets, I would just simply take a calculator and multiply 125 times 5/1000ths, and the answer that we get is 5/8 of an inch, or 0.625. So here's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. I can take my paper counter and set that to 5/8 of an inch. So if I come over to my case here and stab this in, I just stabbed 0.625, which is the decimal form of 5/8 fractional form. Okay, this will give me 125 sheets of 1925 will give me 500 sheets of 8.5 by 11, 4 out. Okay, now when we're over at the cutter here, we have a fraction to decimal inches or decimal millimeter conversion, and we also have the paper cutter photographs telling us about how we operate the cutter. So we would turn the cutter on, it turns on the hydraulics, we would turn the light on, we would turn the electronics on, then we would turn either to the left or to the right, doesn't matter. So I don't know if we're getting this. I'm going to tilt this camera up. So you have power on, power off, light, and then you have air for the ball bearings. Either to the left is on or to the right is on, middle is off. So it's a 3-way rocker switch. We've already turned on the electronics for the computer. We're now going to set this to 8500, gives me 8.5. We hit move, that moves the back gauge. You get the 3 audible beeps. 8.5 is in this direction. Make sure you jog the paper, wind the paper. use a hard stroke in here. If you wanted to, you could use this auxiliary wooden jogger, but it's not necessary. Check our pressure clamp. We can see that that is set to maximum, minimum. 5 in the middle is good. If you want to, you can manually bring the pressure clamp down with the foot pedal. That will happen. That'll come down automatically with a cut. Right thumb, left thumb on the cut buttons. Now if it doesn't cut, you have to hit the blue stop button. That'll clear it. Now it'll make the cut. So this is a good 8.5 cut. This needs to go in for the 8.5 cut. This waste or scrap gets recycled into the blue recycling bin. Okay, now we're ready for the 11-inch cut. So if we come up here, we want 11. Move the zeros to get the decimal place correct. Hit move. That'll move the back gauge to 11, and you get that 3 audible beep sound. You can either put these side by side because they're the same height, or you could put them left to right because they're the same height, or you could double these up. I'm going to double these up, make the 11-inch cut. This is final product. That cut is final product. This is waste and scrap. It gets thrown into the recycling bin. We can turn off the power, turn off the air, turn off the light, and we can turn off the electronics. So now what I have here is 500 sheets or a ream of 8.5 by 11. Let's check the dimensions. There's my 8.5. There's my 11. And there's my 2.5 inches, which would be 500 sheets or a ream. The paper should be square, even, uniform. It looks good. Now this would come over. This would come over to your paper feeder. Now, winding, airing, or jogging paper, what I do is I take the paper flat, I shape it into a U, close my hands. When I open up my hands, I get all that air in there. Now I can jog. If I do it with a smaller lift, you can see all the air in there. An alternative way to jog or air the paper is to take it from the back corners like this, put it right into your feeder, and you could jog the paper that way. Okay, this is ready for the press feeder.